I'm Spoon Phillips, and I was asked to come out to Maury's Music today to talk to you about the Martin D-28 Authentic 1941. The D refers to the dreadnought body size. 28 refers to Martin's style 28, and in the Authentic series, that means all solid wood construction with a Madagascar rosewood back and sides, a high-grade Adirondack spruce top, jet black ebony for the fingerboard and bridge, and a solid tone wood neck made from South American mahogany that has a nice vintage V carve to it. Now this particular guitar is based on a 1941 D-28 housed in the Martin Museum. They took that guitar and they put it under the microscope and literally under the CAT scan machine of the Smithsonian Institute to learn as much as they possibly could about how that old timer was made so they could replicate it as closely as possible in this guitar. There's all hide glue construction. It has scallop rear shifted bracing, just like they used in 1941. That's a little farther back than the standard bracing used today, and even farther back from the forward shifted bracing used in the earlier period in the 1930s. The bridge plate on this guitar is tucked under the X-brace, and it is as close to the exact shape and size of the maple bridge plate used on that 1941 D-28 as they could possibly make. These guitars are famous for their bluegrass flat picking, for their Neil Young style strumming. You can finger pick on them. The D-28 is one of the most famous and legendary acoustic guitars ever made. And I gotta say, this is a really fine example. I really like this neck a lot. It's got kind of a full thickness to it, but it's not really beefy in the upper frets. It's got a vintage V to it that makes it really comfortable for thumb fretting and for bar chords as well. But it gets a nice, more of a curve to it down here in the first position, so it doesn't feel like a V neck when you're bending your wrist in the most extreme angles down in that first position. Basically, the rosewood on this guitar is quarter sawn. This back has a very straight grain quarter sawn down the center. It's quarter sawn all the way out, but it's got these anomalies that you often find in Madagascar rosewood. And some people may find that interesting and unique. Other people may find it a little too unusual, but I gotta say, I have played the prototypes. I've played off-the-line versions of this model, and this is my favorite one to date in terms of tone. It's got a really warm bottom string on it that very reminiscent of an old Martin D-28. It's got these pistol shot mid-range strings that really punch out, particularly in flat picking, and it's got these angelic, clear, chimey trebles that Madagascar rosewood's famous for. They used to use Brazilian rosewood on the D-28s in the 1930s and 1940s. That's an endangered species that costs so much now that these guitars would basically be out of sight for the common player. By using Madagascar rosewood, which itself sounds a lot like Brazilian and looks a lot like Brazilian, you're bringing the price down to make this probably the best bang for a buck that you're going to find, certainly in terms of any vintage recreations of a D-28. And how do they sound? Well, you tell me.